Welcome to the BodPod, the podcast where everybody is welcome. I'm your host, Rachel K. Grimm, and each week we welcome old and new friends to talk all things body image, self-love, and confidence. This is the BodPod. It's almost sandal season. Are you ready? More importantly, are your toes ready? Today's podcast sponsor, Vosh, knows that nothing makes me and you feel more put together and confident than a fresh pedi. Their pedi moments in scents like Mango Delight give your hardworking feet the love they deserve in between salon appointments and when you ask for Vosh at your spa too. Treat your feet and take a moment for you with their 4-step pedi moments in scents like Mango Delight, Lavender Relieve, Jasmine Soothe, or all three. Plus, you'll receive 10% off pedi moments and site-wide at Vosh.com when you use code BodPod at checkout today. Hey, BodPod squad. I'm Rachel K. Grimm, the confidence coach behind Ditch the Click and your BodPod host. Every week from my cute Brooklyn apartment, I'm bringing you all of the confidence boosting tips and resources from some of your favorites in the space. And today we have someone who I know is probably either already your favorite or is about to be a new favorite, Lily Womble. Lily is the dating coach behind Date Brazen. She is the founder and CEO, and she gives all of the best dating and confidence boosting tips. So Lily, I am so thrilled to have you here.
So glad to be here, Rachel. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm going to dive right in with a question. Is there a correlation between confidence and finding a partner? Is it a which comes first, the chicken or the egg type situation? How do they go together?
Yeah, so I think it's important whenever we're talking about dating to really ground in, I don't want anybody to find a relationship. I want people to find the best relationship of their lives. So there is not necessarily to be confident to find a partner, for sure. Like there are people who are not confident who find people every single day, both and. I think that when you pursue your joy and your confidence, the right relationship becomes inevitable. And I see that every day in coaching, thousands of people for the past 5 years. Like it's just a matter of how much of you can you stand to let yourself be in this space called dating that is so vulnerable. And I do see that that directly correlates to better outcomes and also correlates to probably fewer number of dates, that sort of confidence and knowing of self. It's about being for the few, not for the many. And so that mindset shift, I think, is what a lot of people struggle with, is like, is how to build that confidence and then how that confidence correlates to what kind of people you find. And maybe that it takes longer than you want it to. And what does that mean about, right? So like, it's so many things at once. Dating, I call it a microcosm of every hope, joy, dream, fear, insecurity, desire that we have as human beings. And so as such, it matters to our overall well-being and our confidence overall.
Yes. Let's go into the numbers, because you mentioned there, the correlation between number of dates versus success. So
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about, is dating a numbers game? Like I always think about the more I put myself out there with anything, right?
Yeah.
That allows me more opportunity.
Yeah.
So do you think that is the case with dating? Or do you think because we're meant to be going into, be our most confident selves and therefore going into confident dating or confident relationships, that we should be dating less? Or what has been your experience as the dating expert?
As the dating expert. Oh my God. Well, okay. So there's so many things to say, Rachel. I think that the part that I want to start with is more is not more to me.
Yeah.
Because when we say words like date more or date less, what are we talking about? Right?
Yeah.
Like to somebody just on the street hearing play the numbers game, what I have heard when I was single, play the numbers game meant go on as many dates as you can in your calendar, message as many people as you possibly can. If you don't have many matches or messages to work with, then you're a failure. You're less likely to find somebody. If you have those matches and messages and opportunities and people wanting to set you up, you better go on those dates. Otherwise, you don't really want it.
Yep.
Right. And that leads to a lot of things that aren't great for our spirits and our confidence, like cognitive overload. playing the numbers game leads to, when you have way too many options, your higher functioning shuts down. That's when overwhelm kicks in. That's why I think we see so much ghosting, because people are perpetually in a state of cognitive overload because
Wow.
of trying to play the numbers game, right? We
Wow.
also see like women specifically working themselves to like basically to death, into exhaustion, into burnout with dating. That dating is more means I should be exhausted in my dating life. Exhaustion also leads to higher functioning shutting down, which
Mm-hmm.
means you're not making the most aligned decisions for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the advice, play the numbers game, is an inherently patriarchal concept, because it's telling people, specifically women, to exhaust themselves, to shrink themselves, to not really trust what they want to find a partner. And that is not the truth. I think that
Yeah.
it's not about, to me, it's not about, let me put myself out there as much as possible, as much as it is, how can I get in the way of aligned opportunity?
Yes. That, oh my gosh, you said so many good things. It's so funny because I said to you, I look at a lot of things as, let me put myself into as many opportunities, as many pools as possible, therefore giving myself more opportunities.
Yeah.
And to be very honest, I get that mindset from work, right?
Yeah.
So if that's how I think about my work, am I then for making my dating life work? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
kind of something you made me think of when you said that is, oh, if that's how I associate work, then is that how I'm associating like everything else in my life? It's just work. And therefore it's not really as enjoyable. And like you said, when we're working too much, we're exhausting ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
so it's then the same sort of thing to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a conversation about burnout, truly, and
Yeah.
this idea of hustle culture in
Yes.
general. I think, when we live in a capitalistic society in which like we're told us how to get ahead is pushing through.
Yeah.
And that hustle mentality is, Trisha Hershey, I believe her name is, wrote "Rest is Resistance" or "Rest as
Yeah.
Resistance," and she has a great quote. She's like, "Hustle culture is violence."
Yeah.
And the same is true in everyone's dating lives and
Yeah.
dating journey,
Yeah.
because generally that hustle culture of
Mhm.
numbers game, go on as many dates as possible, doesn't matter if I don't feel up to a date, I have to force myself, doesn't matter if I don't really like the guy or girl that my mom is trying to set me up with, I better try because whatever. That is all pointing to a deeper problem of scarcity
Yeah.
and in your dating life. And for most people that I encounter before we work together, scarcity has been driving their car.
Yeah. And isn't that the kind of what drives hustle culture in general?
Yeah, right.
Scarcity.
Not enough.
Yes. Wow. There's so many places I could take this, but you just gave us so much great, just brain shaking knowledge right at the beginning. So tell us, like, where did all of this knowledge come from? Because I'm sure you've been on your fair share of like great dates and not so great dates. And so I'm sure you have
Yeah.
expertise from there. But where does like this expertise, being a dating coach, being the CEO and founder of a dating brand, where
Yeah.
does this come from?
So my heart has always been uh, centered around the well-being of women and girls.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama, where I saw that I was in a conservative space. I saw that a woman's worth was so directly linked to whether or not she was partnered with a cisgender man,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And so I saw from a young age, like that which I did not want to repeat, which is making myself smaller. Say, I saw women getting married who in their vows literally said, I vow to be subservient to my husband. Have you
Oh my
experienced
gosh,
this?
relatable.
Yeah. And I just knew at that young age that that was not for me, and that somehow dating was political. Like I didn't know how at that moment, but I had this feeling that it was more than dating.
Yeah.
And I came, my first career was in the nonprofit space, working at feminist advocacy nonprofits. And when I burnt out of that work, took a really sharp right turn, moved to New York City. I had a billion side jobs. It was like always a dream to be here. And I was hustling hard on,
Yeah.
as we all do when we move here. I think
Yeah.
it's like, I was a preschool teacher. I was a balloon hat maker at Senor Frogs in Times Square. I can still today make a penis balloon hat. And then I
Amazing.
randomly, Rachel, so wild, a friend of mine was like, you need another side job, right? Well, I heard about this matchmaking firm and it's hiring. And I was like, that's hilarious. I'll just try and it'll be a funny story one day. I go to the interview, I kill it. My EQ is high. I'm ready to learn. And it's sort of a sink or swim environment. I got the job. I started matching people on dates, and I quickly realized this truth that I now say all the time: this dating is a microcosm. Dating is everything that we are going through as people, especially as women, and that it is very fertile soil to be well, to learn how to be well in that
Yeah.
space and let that work expand. And so I started matchmaking. I got really good at it. It was the third most successful out of 160 at that company. And
Yes. Oh my gosh,
yes,
you go.
and at the same time, Rachel, I was in a really toxic pattern in my own dating life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Super successful at work,
Yeah.
not so successful doing
And
the work.
that's so many of the people that I work with now, is right, this dichotomy of I feel brilliant in every other area of my life except for dating. What the fuck is going on, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes.
it was made even worse, Rachel, because I was a matchmaker. I was supposed to be like, helping people. I was on, one hand telling my clients, you deserve more. And in my own dating life, I was accepting so very little, in a pattern of situationships, in
Wow.
ending up in a relationship in which I was in love and begging this person to love me back, and just this like constant struggle, constant striving,
Yeah.
constant I am too much, I am the problem, I must make my needs smaller, right? And
You are speaking my
so
language.
yeah,
It's
I mean,
so
I think
good.
that this is such a relatable. I mean, I talk about it because, like, I know where people are. Like, I've
Yes.
been there, hiding in his bathroom, crying, being like, what the fuck is going on? Why am I in this relationship? I'm such a
Yeah.
powerful feminist woman. What's
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah.
And so when I came to a breaking point, when my therapist really helped me do that breakup, and when I committed to, I never wanted to settle again.
Yeah.
And I was afraid that, left to my own devices, could I trust myself? I got
Yeah.
into that relationship. Could I trust myself in the future?
Yes.
And I was afraid that I would settle again. I was afraid that I would shrink again. I did not. I wanted to assure myself that whatever next relationship was on its way, it would be the best one of my life. And
Yes.
so I looked around for support in doing that, right? My therapist helped me in so many ways, but she hadn't dated in 30 years. She didn't know what to tell me. My friends and family told me, well, why don't you just download this other app? Or why don't you just like, swipe a little more, play the numbers game? And then I knew that that wasn't going to work, because a dating app is what I was using as a matchmaker, right? To recruit people. I knew that a dating app wasn't the answer to my love life that I wanted. Could be a tool, but like wasn't the answer. And then matchmaking, I saw, wasn't working long term for many of the clientele. And I wanted something a lot deeper than a first date.
Yeah.
So what I did is I started to learn the skill of coaching for myself in my love life. I started to examine what was beneath the surface of my "you're too much" story. What were my deeper preferences, my essence-based preferences underneath the surface of my checklist, which the
Yeah.
checklist got me into that bad relationship. I thought it
Yeah.
ticked the boxes, but really I needed to get to the living, breathing documentation of my desires and my preferences in a way that was like authentic
Yeah.
and more vibrant,
Mhm.
and more boundaried. And
Yeah.
so I started building this process for myself of dating with joy and with building self-trust. It was such a skill building exercise, and it took
Yeah.
a long time to trust myself again. It took a long time to trust that what I wanted was good and okay and wasn't too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
And then what happened was that I started having fun in my dating life. I started fucking around. I started like like meeting people and giving my number to waiters that I thought were cute. And like
Yeah.
I started putting myself out there. And the magical byproduct was that I felt amazing. And then I met the love of my life, Chris, who is the man
Yes.
I'm engaged to. And I don't think that the relationship is like the success. I think it's the bonus, the cherry on top. I believe whether or not I attracted this love, I would be successful because I had my own back finally.
Yes.
And so what I then started discovering is, oh shit, I'm good at this date coaching thing. Oh my God, I can help people become their own expert matchmaker. So 5 years ago, I broke up with matchmaking to start building Date Brazen. And since I've gotten to help thousands of amazing humans around the world create dating lives that are joyful as fuck and that attract extraordinary love with more ease.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm like jumping out of my seat.
Thank
Love this.
you. Yeah,
It's
that's my story. Yeah.
it's just so relatable because how many of us have found ourselves in some sort of relationship, and I hope it's okay if I take this beyond dating and maybe talk about it a little bit in terms of friendships, family relationships. Like we all of a sudden like something happens and we're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't trust myself anymore. How did I get here? How is this where I am again?" Right? And we say that we're not going to settle again, that we're not going to put ourselves in that situation again, but we found ourselves in a place of being like, oh my gosh, here I am again. So clearly we did settle, right? Or we did give something up. So I guess my question is, how did you, or how do you recommend rediscovering that joy or that confidence, I guess, to build that trust in yourself again? How do you do that? Because you talked a little bit about discovering that joy for you. I guess, are there any like particular tools or resources or things that you point people to that you're like, this is what has worked for me, or this is what I've seen work for my clients for when they're
Mm-hmm.
just trying to find that self joy or that confidence themselves. Therefore, they
Mm-hmm.
can trust themselves in relationships.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like everything that I put out there on TikTok is built
Yeah.
to help you at Date
Yes.
Brazen and in the Date Brazen podcast, like 145 episodes at this point. Like we are here, the Date Brazen community. I am here to help people rediscover their self-trust in their dating life specifically and build practices that embrace and embody joy, joyful embodiment of self and like and self-trust. I'm repeating myself
It's
because
okay.
I'm trying to think about what tools exactly.
Social media is such a great tool because we're
Yeah,
on there all the time. And
yeah,
how often are we like doom scrolling, you know?
yeah,
And
yeah,
accounts like yours, I feel like are so powerful to follow along with because they're honest and real, uh, but they're still really confidence boosting and
yeah,
really not just boosting, but like we said, a resource like that tells
right,
you, you said about practices. I'm all about
right,
confidence, but getting to a confident place is from practice. You don't
right.
just decide like, okay, I'm confident today. It's what you
Yeah,
said about where you started giving out your number and things. Like it was a
yeah,
journey. It took a
yeah.
process, a practice of you doing things again and again and putting yourself out there in order to feel like your most confident self putting yourself out there.
I would say to your point a moment ago about I did this again, or I'm in this toxic situationship again, or oh God, a friend and I broke up again, or oh my God, I'm back here at work. I think that confidence for me and self-trust means I am going to mess up and I'm still the shit.
Yes.
Messing up, that's a sort of a paraphrase quote from one of my coaches, Trudy LeBrun, who I worked with a few years ago. And she on a coaching call just so confidently, I was like, what happens when we mess up, when I mess up? She's like, you're going to.
Yeah.
And I still know that I'm the shit when I mess up. And
Yeah.
so coming back to, I think another actionable practice is, one of the main lessons that I teach inside my program, The Brazen Breakthrough, is how to care for your nervous system in your dating life
Yeah.
and acknowledging that doing vulnerable things that are courageous as hell, like giving your number to a cute person that you make eye contact with, strike up a conversation with, like going on a date at all, like being on a dating app at all, like asking somebody for a friend date, like all of these courageous things kick up a lot of big feelings in our body. and have the potential to throw us into a fight, flight, freeze, or fawn cycle, right? Depending
Ah,
on our trauma response.
yes.
And so I think it's really important to create emotional safety in your body as you do courageous shit while making space for hard as fuck feelings to happen. I see so many people doing courageous things, having big feelings about it, and thinking like shame or like embarrassment or like whatever it is, and then spiraling into, I don't want to feel this way. It must have
Mm-hmm.
been something went wrong. When
Mm-hmm.
people, I think high achieving women especially, are over identifying with their feelings or pushing them away altogether
Yeah.
to be more, quote, productive. But I think the way to greater confidence, to greater self trust, is to feel your feelings effectively with emotional safety
Mm-hmm.
so that you can, like, the Nagoski sisters talk about the stress cycle and how we are not usually closing the stress loop, which is why we have burnout and
Yep.
exhaustion. They wrote the book Burnout. And so, like, feeling your feelings, moving your body to get through it is like allowing you to get through these hard moments quicker so that you can come to, okay, I'm feeling shame. That means I'm human. I'm still awesome. Let me do this practice of feeling my feelings, moving my body so that I can do the next courageous thing.
Yes. And to what you're saying, allowing yourself to go through that process, like maybe it's not going to be easy the first time, and it's probably not even going to be easy the 100th or 300th time that you move
Yeah.
through that, but it will be a little bit easier
Yeah.
because you now recognize the way that you're feeling or
Mm-hmm.
why what you're going through is making you feel the way that it's making you feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
a bit more of like a idea of where to go from there, I guess is what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think, one of my clients, Liz, who was just on the Date Brazen podcast, episode 145, I believe, like, y'all, this episode is so good. She and I worked together in 2020, and she was this badass therapist, and she was out there supporting people, helping people live their best lives. In her personal love life, she felt like a complete novice. She was like, I was a deer in the woods. I had never really dated before. I'd never really had a relationship before. She was in her late 30s. She felt like such a latecomer to the party. Is it
Yeah.
too late for me? What's wrong with me? Like, these thoughts happen, like, what's wrong with me that I haven't figured this out yet? All my friends
Yes.
are coupled. I'm the only single one. And so what we practiced was, how can you feel your feelings associated with being new to this without making them mean that you're wrong for
Yeah.
being new at this? So she had feelings of shame to process, feelings of self-doubt to process, to move through. Feelings are like tunnels. You feel them to get to the light at the end. That's what the Nagoski
Yes.
sisters say. And so then once she created a safe place in her body to process, to feel, then she could come into what else might be possible for me, right?
Yeah.
That's what else might be possible for me looked like her asking, what do I really want? And how can I, if I don't believe that it exists yet, how can I still believe myself and believe
Yes.
that I want it?
Hmm.
So examining her essence-based preferences in that way gave her permission to want what she wanted. Then we built the strategy to ask for her to ask for it out loud and often. She, through this process, discovered, like, oh, I'm bisexual. I want to date women. I like, that was sort of uncovering an old, knowing that she had.
Yeah.
Then once opening herself up and knowing the strategy to ask for what she wanted out loud and often, she then met the love of her life on a dating app using the question as an opener, what sets your heart on fire?
Ah,
And now they're planning their wedding, and it's so beautiful. And I cried so much in that episode because it was just so incredible. But I think the process of coming to confidence is really messy and
yes.
involves a lot of vulnerability along the way, which is why I think it's important to have a community of support around
Yes.
you when you're in that messy middle.
Absolutely. I want to talk about the messy middle and how when you're in the messy middle, sometimes it feels like this is it. This is
Yeah,
where I'll be
yeah,
forever.
yeah.
I know I've been there, not necessarily in terms of dating, but in other areas, been like, well, this is all the further I'll go. This has been
Mm-hmm.
my experience and this is it.
Hmm.
So, do you have a word for someone who maybe is like in that messy middle at the moment? Like,
Hmm.
I'm a firm believer in taking one step, like
Yeah.
one little step, and how those one little steps, time after time, turn into one giant step and into a big picture solution that you made for
Yeah.
yourself, right?
Yeah.
So, do you have a word for them? Whatever it
Yeah.
might be.
I would say, like, of course you feel like this is never going to end. You're in pain, you're suffering.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever struggled with chronic pain or anything like physical,
Yeah.
but when my neck is out,
Yeah.
I fear. I deeply fear this will never heal. I will be in pain for the rest of my life because I'm suffering and my body is sending so much energy and focus to healing that I
Yeah.
have no energy to imagine a world. I have to work really hard to imagine a world in which I don't have neck pain. And
Right.
and I'm very privileged to not experience chronic pain on a higher level. It comes and goes, but I think that that is very normal to
Yes.
view your suffering as interminable. And what I'm
Yes.
doing right now of saying, of course, is a practice of self compassion,
Mm-hmm.
of turning towards yourself and saying, of
That's it.
course, I'm struggling with this.
Yes.
Giving
It's
yourself the
okay.
benefit. It's okay. It's so hard. This fucking sucks. And
Yeah.
I'm not the only person who's felt this way. I'm not the only person who's feeling this way. So, Dr. Kristen Neff is a brilliant human who wrote the book Self Compassion and Fierce Self Compassion.
Okay.
Dr. Kristen Neff has 3 tenets of self compassion that I would love to share with you, which is like
Yeah.
the word for the people in the messy middle.
Give it.
Number one, this is how you practice self compassion. Number one, kindness over judgment.
Yeah.
I imagine I'm sitting next to myself on a park bench. I imagine looking at myself on a park bench and saying, like, what's going on? I'm so sorry you're hurting. Like,
Yeah.
do you know your best friend who always says the right thing and who's like, you're like, I can't believe you're my best friend. I love you so much. You always say the right thing and you're so wonderful. That's the kindness, self compassion energy you get to look towards yourself and give yourself that. I'm here for you.
Yes.
Kindness over judgment, not stop talking about this, stop feeling that way, shut it down. Don't do that. You're human. You are human. Number one. Number two, common humanity over isolation.
Yes.
Common humanity looks like I'm not alone in this, looks like calling your best friend, looks like being in a group. Like, this is why I only do group coaching. It's like common humanity over isolation. Dating is so, especially dating, is so easy to feel isolated in
Yes. Yes.
because the world has told us, our patriarchal society has told us and taught us that single women are somehow behind and that single women are less valuable because they haven't
Mm-hmm.
been chosen
Mm-hmm.
yet or at all.
Yeah.
And that's bullshit. So it's
Yeah.
very understandable why one would feel isolated in their dating life, both and that's not the truth. That's a thought.
Yes.
Number three, third and final, is mindfulness over identification.
Yeah.
That means I am having a thought that this will never end, that I will never meet somebody, or that I will never have a close friend, or I will never be at the right job, or I will always be, like talked down to by my boss. Like all of these like always thoughts, I will never thoughts, and identifying with them as the truth is over identification.
Yes.
Whereas thoughts are sentences in your brain that are emotional interpretations of the world around us. That's a quote from Brooke Castillo. Now, mindfulness looks like in the moment of suffering, turning towards yourself, kindness, common humanity, and I'm having a thought. It's not a fact. This is a really hard thought.
You know what I call you've probably heard me talk about this on Instagram. I always talk about the lies that we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
Believe those lies, those mindful thoughts become, we interpret them as real, as our
Yeah.
reality, but they're not.
Well, and I also see them as old survival mechanisms that no longer serve you. So
Yeah.
I personally don't think of them as lies so much as I think of them as ancient ruins
Yeah.
in my brain that were
Goodbye.
created for a reason back when I was in middle school
Right.
trying to get by,
Right.
like when I
Yeah.
was, it is false narratives that you create, lies, yes, to protect yourself from further rejection or trauma or whatever, that takes such vulnerability to say, I don't need those protective mechanisms anymore. What might be possible?
Yes. You know what? We always talk about the allowing yourself to think, but what if it did work? What if I could?
Yeah, for sure.
And the
Yes.
power in that what if,
Yes.
looking at the what if in the positive way, not so much of
Yeah.
the what if it all goes wrong, but what if it all goes right?
Yeah. And I think for me, somebody who has dressed for her tragedy a zillion times to think I'm
Love
trying
it.
to beat the universe to the punch,
Yes.
you know, it's a Brene Brownism, dress rehearsing tragedy. And
Love Brene Brown. You are,
yeah,
by the way, you're throwing out some amazing authors, a bunch of who I know, but some who I don't. I already wrote a few little notes down. So thank you for all
yeah,
these shout outs. They're really good, Lily.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think none of us exist in a silo. I don't do this work because I am the most brilliant human on the planet who knows everything and who has figured out everything. No, 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 no. I'm a human being who has absorbed stuff and who has a human brain who's bringing something to the table.
Yes.
And so I think it's really important to reference our teachers and our coaches because we're all co created.
When we're talking about empowerment and empowering each other, it being cyclical. And I love that you talked about you said step two in there
Yeah.
is common humanity over isolation and the
Yeah.
power of community, the power of not just being alone, but putting yourself out there to be understood and heard and feel like you're not the only one going through it. And I do want to shout out here, we just had our BodCon conference, which was absolutely amazing. We had thousands of people stream in from all over, and
Amazing.
we launched the BodCon app, which we've started as a space to connect, which we will have to send it to you on there, Lily. I think you'd love it. Dropping little things that you have upcoming, or just
Yeah.
dropping these thought bombs that you have too, are just amazing. But truly created it to be a space that we can go to and look for our confidence boosting community, because
Mm-hmm.
we do often on our journey to feeling like the best version of ourselves feel like we're all alone, like we're the only one, like it's all the further we'll go. And so we just recently launched the app to create that space. But you're so right. Like finding that space is absolutely
Yeah.
instrumental and game changing
Yeah.
in your relationship with yourself, but relationships with others then too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that being in belonging is one of the most life-changing experiences. And it is one of my core values as a human. One of my core values of Date Brazen is we are drenched and but we work to be drenched in belonging in everything that we do. And then, our space is a space where people can come and be seen and held and celebrated wherever they are in their love life journey, especially because I don't like coming back to success does not mean a relationship. Success
Yes.
means being in the best relationship of your life with yourself and practicing such fierce self-compassion and softness with yourself,
Yeah.
um, so that you can give yourself permission to both be human and want things and go after them.
Yes. I want to talk a little bit about going after the things we want and securing them, right? Like
Yeah.
I think there's so many people probably listening and watching who are on their dating journey or
Hmm.
are on their relationship journey with themselves or with their friends or in their work. But then there are also those of us who we feel secure in our relationships. Right. You talked about being engaged to Chris
Hmm.
and getting
Hmm.
married soon.
Yeah.
How exciting, first of all. But
Thank you.
can we talk a little bit about the confidence in maintaining that relationship beyond just like the initial dating, right? Like the initial like
Yeah.
just finding the person. Okay, we found them. Okay,
Yeah.
we're secure now, whatever that security might look like.
Yeah.
How do we keep that that confidence going? Because sometimes
Mm.
as we meet people and we open up more of ourselves, they do the same, and we find things that maybe aren't as pretty as we thought they were from the beginning.
Hmm.
So can we talk a little bit about that, the confidence there?
Okay. Yeah. So I think there are a couple different buckets of like places I could go.
Totally.
There's like being in a relationship with another imperfect human, right?
Yeah.
There's the owning what you want even as you create enmeshment or not, or healthy, symbiosis in a relationship, how
Yes.
to have your own back. And, that's why I think the skills that I teach inside my programs and on my podcast on TikTok, like, are also skills that people report who get into relationships after our work report as things they still call upon, lean upon to be in the
Yes.
healthiest relationship possible. Because the skill of self trust
Hmm.
is one that is hopefully going to grow with you, right? And be a pillar of, your sense of self, a huge pillar of your sense of self in a relationship. Because when Chris and I have been together over 5 years. We've lived together for 3. There have been so many moments of growth and wonderful joy, and hard moments of, oh wow, this is like bringing 2 lives together is complicated, and we're
Yes.
balancing each of our needs and each of our conflict styles and each of our love languages, and it is very complex. I think that it's important to recognize that that being human means being in complex relationships, and the goal is not simplicity necessarily. The goal is to hold and be organized in the relationships, both with yourself and other people, so that you are living in alignment with your values. Now, that can mean a shit ton of different things that we can go into, but I think that, to me, what I always come back to is, am I trusting myself?
Yeah.
Am I trusting myself to make the best next step? Talking about this idea of getting married and the
Hmm.
choice to marry
Hmm.
is a big one. Like, it's like, what does that mean? What it means something different to everybody. And
Yeah.
my parents are divorced. They divorced about 5, 6 years ago.
Hmm.
So I came to the table feeling complicated, desiring partnership, desiring marriage, desiring a wedding as a ritual of our celebration of love, and fearing it, like really fearing, what does this mean, fearing, what am I making a choice for myself 20 years from now? How do I know what my 20-year self will want, right? 20-year from now self. And what I come back to that gives me such comfort is, I trust myself today, I will trust myself tomorrow, and with that skill, I will be in the best relationship of my life no matter what,
Yeah.
period.
Yes.
And embracing this idea that Esther Perel calls modern monogamy, which is, we will be together as long as we want to be.
Yeah.
That this is a radical choice to love ourselves and love each other
Yeah.
in this commitment. And we are committed to ourselves over everything else.
Yeah. I love that so much of what you've said in this episode has been about the correlation between self-trust
Yeah.
and then having the confidence to make the decisions that are best for you.
Yes.
As someone who also comes from a split family, I know so many times in my life I've questioned, is long-term love possible? Is it worth it? Is it for me? You know all the questions, you've been there too.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to live in those spaces, but to be able to trust yourself to say, "Oh no, I have always made the best decisions for me. They've
Mm-hmm.
gotten here and I'm going to continue to do so even 20 years later."
Mm-hmm.
That is confidence, right? Like that
Mm-hmm.
trust in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That is it. I love that you said that.
Thank you. And I think that also comes back to, I trust myself that when I make a mistake, I'll make it right.
Yes. And that you're not it's not all over from one mistake,
Yes. Oh my
right?
God. Well, just like even in interpersonal relationships, like my relationship with my parents, or like my future stepmom, or like all these pieces, like, I've said things that, like over Christmas break. I mean, it's just like, family is so complicated, but saying things that then I'm like, oh wow, I just said that. I don't like that I said that. I want to apologize. I'm sorry. Let's, like, I'm willing to feel anything to be with you, Lily, means I allowed myself in this moment of like, oh wow, this is a conflict moment that I don't love my reaction in. I don't love their reaction either. I am in this moment willing to feel anything to be with you, Lily. I'm going to have my own back, and I made a mistake. Let me make it right. And
Yeah.
trusting myself through like that rumble, I think, is like,
Yes.
it sharpens the tool of self trust.
And proving that it's okay to be uncomfortable and sometimes in a
Yes.
little weird feeling situation.
Yes.
That weird feeling doesn't last forever, that
Yeah.
uncomfortability doesn't last forever, but sometimes
Yes.
it's necessary to work through. It's part of the process, like you said,
Yeah.
in order to get to be where you want to be,
Yeah.
with yourself and with your relationships.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned over the last 2, 3 years is that I have and other people have the capability of being disappointed and uncomfortable.
Yes.
That so much of my people pleasing habits, so much of my perfectionistic habits were coming from a place of safety is created, this thought that safety is created when am, when people are comfortable and I am comfortable, but mostly when other people are comfortable around me, right?
Yes.
And that idea, which is inherently like can be misogynistic, can be like playing into so many ways that I'm socialized as a woman to people please over my own personal safety.
Mhm.
That's a lot of unlearning. And the biggest lesson, I am willing to be uncomfortable. I'm willing to allow you to be uncomfortable. I'm willing to allow you to have your feelings, and
Mhm.
I am not in control of them. That's especially important when you're learning the skill of self trust because it will mean making decisions that do not please other people.
Yeah.
And so, even saying out loud, like, I'm willing to be uncomfortable to have my own back, and I am willing to allow them to have whatever feelings they have. They don't mean anything about me.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Lily. No, off the record, I could just keep talking about this forever. This was such a good conversation. But I want to move into I'm going to ask you a few questions about
Great,
body confidence and the correlation to relationships, if that's
great.
okay, or how they relate in
Yeah, let's
relationships.
do it.
So we're the BodPod, all
Hmm.
about body confidence, body neutrality, figuring out how to feel the most powerful in your body. I'm
Hmm.
sure you probably speak to a lot of people who, are dealing with their body confidence in regards to a relationship. So I'm
Hmm.
curious if you have any tips there, whether it's like
Yeah,
self that you've had or tips that you've given to people that you've coached in feeling confident in your body because we're so vulnerable in relationships across the
yeah,
board and then our bodies, next level vulnerability.
yeah, for
So, could we
sure.
dive into that a little bit?
Absolutely. So I love to, gosh, I've had a personal journey with, everybody has, and I've had a personal journey with like, and still am on a journey of neutrality. And I love what one of my friends and colleagues, Bree of Body Image by Bree on Instagram, Bree Campos, talks about body grief, that
Yeah.
to get to body acceptance, we have to go through grieving what we thought our body should be or what the world has told us our body should be, which none of
Yeah.
us live up to that standard.
Yeah.
So she's an excellent person to look at as a leader in this conversation. I would
Mhm.
also say in terms of creating liberation around one's body and one's sense of self in their body, especially for people who hold marginalized identities. Um,
Yeah.
the most one of my most I'm so grateful to be friends with her and be colleagues with her, Chrissy King.
Okay.
March 14th, her book comes out, The Body Liberation Project, How Racism and Diet Culture. It's about racism and diet culture and how all of that impacts our sense of self and white supremacy and how that impacts body image
Yeah.
and how to create body liberation through all of that. Or in spite of all of that.
Yeah.
So I look to her also as a leader in this space and the conversation. I also really recommend the book Our Body Is Not an Apology by Sonia Renee Taylor.
Yes.
And and that practice of even saying out loud, my body is not an apology, my body is not an apology. She also offers so many actionable tips on that subject. But in terms of dating, like, man, body image, body confidence, lack thereof, so tender.
Yeah.
I remember dating when I was dating, and I'm curvier. I'm not like I in the conversation I would say a mid-size, right?
Yeah.
And I remember dating in New York and fearing being looked up and down by dates, fearing going on dates. Do you know how curvy I am? Did I put pictures up that were adequately representative of my size? Are you going to judge me? Are you going to not be attracted to me because I'm curvier, right? All these like these patriarchal standards that don't serve us, that are realities, unfortunately, in the modern dating space.
Hmm.
And all I can say is, woof. There's
Yeah.
a lot of tangled webs here, and it's all the more reason to start practicing softness with yourself through the skill of self-compassion.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'm feeling this way. Of course, I'm struggling with this. I am in process of learning how to, not beating yourself up that you're not arrived yet. There is no arrived. I
Yeah.
am in process of learning how to be kind to myself no matter what. I am learning how to be kind to my body. I am learning how to embrace exactly who I am today, right?
Yeah.
All those, I think those are the skills that I'm learning and have learned to
Mhm.
soften the edges of body thoughts that don't serve me.
Speaking of the BodCon again, one of the conversations we had during the BodCon was with Deepti from Love is Blind. I'm not sure if you
Mm.
saw her season, but I had the opportunity to chat with her
Oh my
about
God. She
her
honestly, could you make an intro? Because
own.
I think she's incredible. And
Talk
what a
about a badass woman.
incredible woman. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
She would be so fun to have on your podcast. Um,
I mean, like
like,
we're making
come,
things happen behind the
come
scenes. I
on.
would love.
Yeah. She, so if I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen her season, but I
Oh
think
no,
there's,
that was 2 years ago. You have to
right.
say, because
That's
it was,
okay.
if they
I
haven't
can
seen it
talk about it.
now, if they haven't
Okay.
seen it, then they're never going to watch.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to talk about it. So for anyone who hasn't seen Deep Tea's season, obviously Love is Blind, they go in, they're not seeing each other, and the person that she matched with, who she ended up being in a relationship with, ended up being engaged to, um, was super body focused and would ask questions to get an idea of what her body was when he couldn't see her, and then would comment on her body to her, but also outside of her to other people beyond it. And when you talked about showing up to a date and being like, oh, did I represent myself online in the best way possible? I'm so afraid of that first look up and down. She said to me, when I was getting ready to meet him for the first time, I found myself in this place of, oh, I hope he thinks I'm beautiful. Like, I hope he likes me. And she said, I was like, who am I? I'm a confident woman. I like myself. I'm proud of who I am. And suddenly I'm caring so much more about what someone else thinks of me. And if they truly love me, they're going to love this body that I'm in, because I am more than just my body. And that was
Yeah.
just, you know, her whole stance in that season is powerful. That conversation was powerful.
Yeah.
I haven't had the chance to read all of her book, but things I've heard about it are powerful. So I wanted to add in that tidbit there because I think that is so relatable. Like, so many
Mm.
people um feel that fear of what are they going to think of me,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's both very like very common. I don't know anybody who doesn't struggle with this.
right?
And I men and women truly. And non-binary individuals, all of us
Yes.
struggle. And I think that it's important to acknowledge like I'm carrying a high level of unearned privilege into the room. And it is so much harder for those who do not and who are in larger bodies or in who are differently abled or disabled. Like it's
Yes.
just people of color, like dating is hard. And I mean, I know that's why I call myself an intersectional feminist dating coach, because all of these different conversations about different levels of oppression, different kinds of oppression that are intersecting identities really matter to our collective well-being and to obviously individual well-being, especially as it relates to something so vulnerable as dating. And especially because dating apps in the last 10 years have become ubiquitous and have become the way that we connect in a lot of ways. And so I think that this conversation around self-compassion, around self-trust, around creating a community of supporters for you to cheer you on and to hold you in compassion as you grow and have hard stuff come along, like I think this is the work of changing your own life and the work of creating momentum in the direction of attracting what you want, whatever that is.
Lily, to round it out, I have to ask you a question that I ask so many people who come on this podcast. What does confidence mean to you? You've, I was going to say you can talk about it in terms of dating or body confidence, but whatever it
Just
means to
putting
you.
it to me. It means owning what you want and asking for it.
Yeah.
And it means doing so imperfectly.
Yes.
That's
Snap.
it.
Done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Owning what you do and being okay with being imperfect.
Owning what you want and
Owning
asking
what
for
you
it
want.
out loud and often, right? I want to like process of owning what you want is courageous and is revolutionary in a world in which women specifically are told to behave and be smaller, to take up less space, to be more palatable so that the existing standing order and powers that be can continue to be the powers that be, right? That
Yeah.
asking, knowing what you want in and of itself is revolutionary. Then giving yourself permission to have what you want is deeply revolutionary, especially when we look at the legacies of women in our past who did not have opportunities, who
Yeah.
did what they had to do to survive,
Yeah.
who were not did not have the availability to ask for what they wanted out loud and often, right? So in that way, it's revolutionary, and imperfectly asking for what you, knowing what you want, asking for it out loud and often, imperfectly leaves room for the messy humanity, and is not, confidence is not about absolutism. It's not
Yes.
about always. It's not about I ask for what I want always out loud perfectly. It is I practice, like you were talking about at the beginning of the episode. It is a
Yeah.
practice. It is a set of skills. It's what I call main character energy. That set of skills of permission, self-trust, and then massive action. So giving yourself permission to want what you want and to have it, trusting yourself enough to know that your desires are good and whole and wonderful and not wrong, and then taking massive action imperfectly to attract or co-create what you want in the world. That
Yeah.
is confidence to me.
I love that answer. When I'm coaching women, I always talk to them about like, what would the best version of your life look like if you didn't have to account for anyone else's feelings or emotions or how it affects them, right? What is it that you want? And sometimes that's the most difficult thing to define. And so I love that you said that that's exactly what confidence is, being able to recognize it, say it out loud, act on it, and be okay that sometimes it's not perfect because life isn't, we aren't. We always say on this podcast, confidence looks a lot like this. It's a wave, but we we get there. So Lily,
Yeah.
before we let you go, I want you to shout out all the places that we can find you because as we said, you yourself are an incredible resource of confidence, especially when it comes to dating. Anything that you might have coming up, tell us about your podcast. Let's hear it all.
Amazing. Okay, so you can find me every single day on TikTok and Instagram at Date Brazen, DateBrazen. If you want to get on my email list and hear an actionable, feminist as fuck, joyful as fuck dose of dating confidence every single week, get on my email list at datebrazen.com. I have a beautiful free journaling guide called How to Make Your Dating Life Feel Like an Act of Self-Care. You can get that at datebrazen.com. And I have the Date Brazen podcast. I have a new episode every single week, over 145 episodes to binge. And then if you're like, oh my God, Lily, like I want to work with you, how do I do that? The Brazen Breakthrough is my signature group coaching program with a year of group coaching and daily support in a Slack channel, and you will make friends with single badasses around the country, and you will create a joyful as fuck dating life that attracts extraordinary love. And that is open until March 31st. So if people want in, I also have a free training coming up for that to talk about Brazen Breakthrough and to help you create a joyful as fuck dating life. So you can go to datebrazen.com for all of those details.
Oh, I love it. Lily, thank you so much for sharing that, for sharing your expertise and your journey too. It is such a joy to talk to you. You're a badass yourself. So thank you so much for
Thank
being
you,
here.
Rachel.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Thank you for everyone listening too. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, thank you so much. please be sure to subscribe and also rate and review our podcast so that we can come back here every single week to you. And if you're just listening, maybe you want to watch us. You can see Lily and I be so animated and excited about all the things we're talking about. You can find us on YouTube at the BodCon. Also, we're on all social platforms too at the BodCon. We would love to hear from you, connect with you there. And don't forget, like I said today, to find us in the app, the BodCon app, where we have conversations going on about this episode and so much more. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye. Thanks so much for joining us today on the BodPod. We release new episodes every week, and we're available on all podcast streaming platforms and now YouTube too. Subscribe to our channels to be the first to know. Want to talk all things body confidence, enter amazing giveaways, and hear updates about the BodCon 2023? Find us on Instagram at the BodCon. My name's Rachel K. Grimm, and I'll see you next week.